go. Hey, welcome back everybody. Southwest Outdoors report today. Good white bass. That's a big one right there. We are talking about how to catch some easy catching, good eating white bass. And I promised at the beginning of the show that I would show you a couple of techniques that I like to use effectively to catch these fish in the summertime when they're out in deep water on the bottom like they are today. Let's let that one go back. And I will tell you that the first one is the easiest of all. You just take a spoon. In fact, I want to show you real quick. I've got 3 or 4 of my favorite spoon type bottom bouncing baits laid out, several different shapes. You need at least 1 ounce. Then you take that spoon, simply drop it over the side, let it free spool to the bottom. Once it hits the bottom, click your reel into gear and just give it some quick little snaps of the rod tip. One of the biggest mistakes I see folks making is too big of jerks. They jerk way up here, let it fall back. That is not nearly as effective as little short snaps of the rod tip, little wrist pops where you're jigging that spoon about 1 foot off the bottom. The other technique is to make a big long cast, let it go to the bottom. Once it gets to the bottom, you crank it about 6 or 7 times, push your button, let it go back, fall to the bottom. Crank it 6 or 7 more times, let it fall back. That covers a lot of water. So you use that to find them, drop it straight down when you get straight up over the fish. All right now let's check in with Gary Dollahan up in Oklahoma.
We all have our favorite one-stop shopping places, and that's exactly the way I look at Lake Eufaula here in Oklahoma. It's got everything. Right now, as you can tell, the water level is actually up about 1.5 feet. Don't know how long it's going to stay there, but there are some bass up in the shallows. You can catch them on soft plastics. Of course, this lake has spotted bass, largemouth, and smallmouth. Carolina rig, great thing on this lake. Put that buffalo lizard about 2 foot behind your sinker, fish it on those shelves close to the ledge, 15 to 20 foot of water. You're going to catch them. Right now, the crappie on this lake, fishing is actually pretty good. You can catch them on standing timber, about 14 foot or less as far as the depth. The fish seem to be suspending about 6 to 10 foot on that. I like a big profile bait this time of year. The Bobby Garland 3-inch slab slayer white with a chartreuse tail is really doing the job here today. Great catfish lake, flatheads, blues, and channel cat. It's hard to beat cut shad for catfish species, but I also like some prepared baits. Secret 7 is a favorite of mine. It really works very well for channel cat. You can catch some blue cats on it as well. One thing about it, you can't catch them where you don't go. See you on Lake Eufaula.
You know, we don't talk about brim and bluegill fishing enough on this show, and we've got some excellent spots around our region. So this week on the Lowrance Hot Lake of the Week, we're going to highlight one that's easily accessible from the bank, the shore, a dock. You don't have to have a boat to access these brim and bluegill. It's Inks Lake, located west of Burnet, Texas. Let's locate it now on the Lowrance HDS 10. Got the Insight shaded relief mapping loaded up here, and we can show you that Inks Lake is located just east of Lake Buchanan. It's located about 12 miles west of Burnet on State Highway 29. Now we switch to the Navionics Hot Maps Platinum South chart, and we locate the dam on the south end here. The main entrance to the state park is on Park Road 4 here. We zoom in slightly to show lots of good bank walking shoreline access along the east shoreline in the state park. The Texas Parks and Wildlife Department has stocked lots of bluegills and redbreast sunfish, and they run up to about 8 inches. The best way to catch them is to use a bobber and use crickets or earthworms. And in Inks Lake, you might catch the occasional Guadalupe bass, our Texas state fish. That's this week's Lowrance Hot Lake of the Week. Stay with us. When we come back, Cajun, Phil, and Kevin are up next from Louisiana, and we'll have your Barry's Real Fishing feature from below the dam at Lake Texoma.
The Southwest Outdoors Report, powered by your Texas Chevy dealers, is brought to you by quality award-winning Tracker Boats, Fish the Finest, by Lowrance, makers of the HDS, High Definition Systems, and by Jean LaRue Lures and Bobby Garland Baits. Quality soft plastic baits made in Oklahoma with American pride.